The Outlast Trials is honestly really, really good. As someone who's not a fan of horror games, or, well, someone who doesn't like to play horror games, but usually watches other YouTubers play them instead of playing them myself, Outlast Trials is kind of a new kind of experience for me. I've never played Outlast 1, nor Outlast 2, nor the DLC for Outlast 1, which is Whistleblower. I've seen all of the games, I've watched them on YouTube on multiple occasions, but I've never physically played them. I probably never will. And then, yeah, Outlast Trials was a thing that became a game. We got multiplayer Outlast, essentially, and I've been wanting to play this game for a while, and I've had it for about a week. I got it on sale for about 50% off, which was a really good bargain. And yeah, I've been playing it on and off for about the last week and a bit, and I can say that I'm thoroughly enjoying. It is spoopy. It's definitely gotten me on a few occasions, the tutorial specifically, because that's solo only and you have to learn the game. Definitely got me on more than one occasion just doing the tutorial alone. And even in the actual just game itself, it gets me sometimes. Like I'll just accidentally run into an enemy or something out of nowhere in the middle of the dark, and just jump out of my skin, and it's very funny. So yeah, I've been playing this for about a week with some friends, and obviously the gameplay you're seeing on screen right now is me playing it with friends. I've not really got a structure for this video, obviously, because this game has not really got a story. Not really. It's kind of loosely got one, but I've been told that that's kind of recent. I don't know if that's true or not. It is interesting, and there is evidence to be collected in the game which provides lore, but we don't actually have like a fully fledged story. There are main trials that are considered kind of the main game, but not really like a story as such, at least not that I've discovered. So the Outlast Trials is incredibly fun. The atmosphere is captured really, really well, especially at the beginning of Trials, and when you're in dark areas and you can't see. It's very, very tense. The mixture of enemies is really good. You've got kind of normal grunts that are kind of like your normal enemies from Outlast 1, where like if they see you, they'll chase you, and they have some form of melee weapon, like a knife or a piece of wood, something to injure you with. You've got your big enemies. They're like these kind of like Chris Walker from Outlast 1, but not quite, where they're a lot bigger. They're a little bit slower, but they're, ow. You've got a guy with gas who can put you into something called psychosis, and if he does that, you've got to avoid this like hallucination for a limited time, otherwise you die. He's not fun. You've got a woman that throws Molotovs, and she likes to scream a lot. You've got pouncers, so these, I believe, are ex-population of the Trials that have essentially snapped and gone insane, so they hide, and if you get too near, or you try to use the hiding spot they're in, they pounce on you, and you have to get them off, or a friend can kick them off of you. There probably are some other enemies that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but moving on, there are this kind of what I call the specialised enemies, essentially, the problems. There are 3 of these in the game thus far. There's Mother Gooseberry, who is this psycho dentist chick with a puppet on her hand that she talks to, and she's nuts. There's a hillbilly cop with a stun baton, who, I kid you not, likes to touch himself with it, and he's not fun. And the newest one that was added that I've also experienced is some kind of cross between a child who's also a mobster, who never kind of grew up, and he has a shotgun, and he's also not fun. In a good way. Like, I don't mean not fun as in, oh my god, they're bad. Not fun as in, if they see you, you've got a problem. The maps, or the trials, whatever you want to call them, quite fun. There's only one that I've played that I didn't really enjoy, which is actually the newest trial that was apparently added. I'm not that keen on it, but the other ones have all been fun thus far. And the music as well is really good. like when you're hiding, and an enemy's just been chasing and you're hiding, and then the heartbeat's going and going, and the music's getting really, really tense because the enemy's like on top of you. It's really good. Like, it's really well done. Now, the gameplay as well is really fun. Obviously, it's a kind of a mix between hide and seek / puzzles in between. Obviously, because you can't really fight back the enemies. You can stun them, but you can't fight back. And obviously, you've got your objectives you've got to complete to get out of the trial. There's always a main objective that you have to do. As long as that main objective is achieved, they will then release you from the trial. Granted, you've still got to escape the trial. It's not just a freebie. You've still got to get out. But the gameplay's fun as well. There are perks you can unlock. There are rigs you can unlock, which are like your main abilities. You can unlock extra things to take in trials. So a good example is slippers. So you can walk over broken glass without making any noise, because otherwise you're barefoot. Stuff like that. And there's even a hub area with like multiple things to do. There's chess, as you will have seen me playing earlier. There's a little video game on the wall, which is table tennis. There's a game upstairs that it like says the name of a colour, but it shows a different colour, and you've got to like click the right one. I can't remember what that one's called. That one's hard. There's arm wrestling. So the hub area is actually not just like, oh, this is just here because we needed a hub area for you to get your perks. It's actually like an area you can see other players. You can see their rooms, so you can decorate your rooms. And you can socialise, you can play chess, you can play arm wrestling. You can actually interact with other players without actually even having to go into the trials. And I'm very partial to a game of chess on this game. It's just fun to pass the time. So that's cool as well. The hub area is actually really well done. And like I said, the gameplay is really good too. Now, the only issue I kind of realistically have with the Outlast Trials at the moment, and this doesn't happen in every trial, this is not like a one-size-fits-all kind of issue for every trial, but sometimes, for example, the stun rig, okay? So the stun rig is an ability you get that can be recharged, where you can throw a stun rig at an enemy and it stuns them. This works on every enemy. In fact, anything else, like a brick or a bottle, does too, that you can just find in a trial. And while it is funny to repeatedly throw these things at an enemy that's trying to chase you, and you'll just keep throwing these at their head, and it is funny, it is very funny, it very much pulls away from the horror element that the game is meant to have. Now, maybe that's just me, maybe some people are going to disagree and be like, nah, that's what makes the game fun for me, I like to kind of run loops around the enemies and stuff. But at that point, in my mind at least, if you want to play a game like that, ideally just go and play Dead by Daylight, because that is literally what that game is. You slap pallets on top of killers and you can bully them if you're good, which I'm not. And obviously Outlast Trials is AI as well. It's not a physical person. So I don't know. Sometimes it becomes less scary when you can just repeatedly run loops around an enemy and throw things at them to keep stunning them. It kind of pulls away from that kind of like, oh, you've stunned them, now you need to run before they become unstunned and kill you. You need to go find somewhere to hide. Instead, it becomes, I have 4 bricks in my inventory. 1. Okay, he's unstunned. 2. Etc, etc. It's funny, but it pulls away from the horror element of the game a lot. You can almost, with some trials, like sprint through half of them. And not even have to kind of creep around. You could, like, the game teaches you about noise and shadow and stuff, and sometimes you could just sprint and it's fine. The only other criticism I have is, obviously anyone that's played Outlast 1 or 2, or watched them, will know that the series is kind of synonymous with the whole camcorder and the night vision to see in the dark, and that was like the whole thing of the first game and the second game as well. And this game lends that as well, with the theme of kind of goggles that you put down instead to see, and they have a battery life too. But what kind of sucks is the trial environments, at least half of them, are just well lit, bright rooms. So not only does the element of shadow hiding you become irrelevant, but also the night vision becomes irrelevant as well. And I kind of don't like that either. I wish that more of the trials were dark. I wish that more of the trials were covered in shadow and darkness and only faint bits of light. Because yes, okay, it means you can hide from enemies easier, but it also makes it scarier for you because you've got to creep through because you can't see as well, and if you run out of battery, you're in trouble. Maybe they'll change that in the future because they are still supporting the game, obviously. Maybe it'd be cool to have the trials like randomized. Like, I know they are randomized to a degree, but it would be cool that if you loaded up the same map 3 times, on those 3 occasions, different areas of the map were dark and light, so it was never the same. But majority should be dark. It should be in the dark and in the shadow, because that makes it scarier, and that lends the ambience, the atmosphere, the horror factor that Outlast 1 and 2 had. You know, I can think of so many moments in Outlast 1 when I've been watching it on YouTube where it's genuinely scary, because obviously it's in the dark, you pull the camcorder up, oh, there's just a geezer in front of me, I'm going to die. Stuff like that. Or if Chris Walker's running at you and you're just like, well, you know, that's kind of what Outlast, at least to me, is synonymous with. And sometimes I feel like this game loses that a little bit because of how well lit some of the environments are. So obviously at the moment, like for example on screen, I'm creeping along and it's in the dark. So obviously I'm using night vision, and you can see at the top that my batteries are running low. This is what I mean. We're creeping through, my battery's running out, so I can't afford to stop. I need to keep moving or find a battery. And now I'm in a well-lit area again where any enemy with a pair of eyes is going to see me from 15, 20 feet away. And it's just a bit weird. But I don't know. It is overall a good game. I would recommend it even if you're not a fan of horror games or you're not a fan of Outlast. This is good because you can play it with other people other than the tutorial. You've got to get through the tutorial by yourself. You cannot have a friend do it for, like, play with you. But once you've done that, you can play with others, and that kind of does, if you're genuinely like not a fan of horror games but want to try it, it generally kind of lowers the fear factor a little bit because you've got a team of 2, 3 or 4. So you've got people to communicate with, and you know there are other people helping you with the objectives, and it's not just you. But honestly, it's really good, and the achievements don't seem too hard either. Essentially, there's 27 badges you can unlock repeatedly in the game. You just need to unlock each badge at least once, so just play the game. None of them are that hard, realistically. Some of them might just take a little bit longer than others because you do those things less. But honestly, it's really good. There's not a lot more I really want to say. I haven't played, obviously, like I said, I've been playing it on and off for the past week and a bit. I haven't done like an in-depth dive into the game because obviously I haven't put a lot of time with it. But I am really enjoying it, so I wanted to make a video on it. But that's it, I think. Nice change from doing something Space Marine related, especially for you guys. I've done about 6 Space Marine videos in the last couple of months. But this is, yeah, Outlast Trials is good. I do recommend it, and the achievements don't look too hard either. That's it from me, though. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you've played Outlast Trials as well, let me know what you think about it as well, and the points that I've made. Obviously now this is my last video, I think, before Christmas now, because it's going to be the 20th tomorrow. Yeah, this will be my last video before Christmas. Wow. Next video is going to be not about a game. It's probably just going to be an end of year recap and roundup and a thank you, and kind of what the plans are for next year in regards to taking the channel forward. And also the other thing I want to ask is this gameplay you see right now. I actually streamed this because Alex is obviously unwell at the moment with her leg, and she wanted something to watch. So I streamed it with mic on, just myself, not my friends, because I generally can't trust what comes out of their mouths. As funny as they are, they would 100% get me banned from Twitch instantly. But, you know, if you want me to post the stream in full, I've got it downloaded if people are interested in watching the actual gameplay, just raw. And if you guys want me to start doing that and would prefer it if I started doing that, then I don't mind. I want to start streaming more in the new year anyway. But this will be my last video before Christmas. So have a wonderful Christmas, if you obviously celebrate Christmas. And have a good new year as well. Take care of yourselves as always, guys. And I'll see you all in the next video, which will be the last video for the year. I believe anyway, if my math is right in my head, which it should be. And it'll just be an end of year recap, kind of a roundup, what the plans are for next year, and obviously a thank you as well. And then obviously we start then in, 2025. So much love, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.